welcome to another Zelda podcast. My name is David Geisler, and I'm here with my co-host, Kady Roberts. Kady Roberts, how are you?
I'm doing great. Have you always said my last name?
I go back and forth.
Okay.
I go back and forth. If I say David Geisler, then I sometimes say Kady Roberts.
All right.
Like,
fair enough.
I'm David Geisler, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Kady.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't have the same
No,
ring.
I think it's funny because I got nothing against my last name. However, I'm around a lot of people with cool last names, you included. So
we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Maybe, was it on a real episode, or was it during the Magical Sword People segment? I can't remember.
Lord only knows, but
yeah, I think it was on a real episode.
Yeah, it's just like David Geisler and
Roberts. Is that because it's Roberts? Geisler's cool. I've talked about how I think it's technically derived from German for goat herder or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an exact translation.
My roommate's, her last name is Blaskovich.
Oof. Yeah.
Like, I mean, guys.
You need to be an actor or a screenwriter with that last name. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I've actually realized recently, I was kind of going through my family tree. Seriously, I'm not even doing a bit right now. Mm-hmm. Michelle and I were kind of looking at it because we're going camping. We're going camping in my family's homeland of Prairie du Chien in Wisconsin in a couple weeks. And so a lot of my ancestors are there. But there's no real Geislers. And what it is my like in Kenosha, where much of my current family is, it's all from my mom's side. So it's all the Rakowskis. Mm-hmm. And my dad is the Geisler. So Geisler became our name. And in Prairie du Chien, it's all about the Arns, Ahrens. They were like a big milk farm and stuff. That's where my family's roots, my dad's family's roots come from. So he was, I guess he was Geisler because of his dad. But my grandpa was, if I may, just this kind of like lone dude with the name of Geisler that came into Prairie du Chien and married into this family of Arnses. Uh-huh. And so it's so funny because my actual family connections are the Rakowskis and the Arns. And I feel very close to, both those sides of the families or whatever. And there really aren't any Geislers, to be found. And it's so funny how the patriarchy has just kind of stamped that name right into our thing, even though my identify more with the Arns and the Rakowskis. But anyway, I digress.
Intriguing.
I know, right? I was realizing that because I was telling Michelle, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to go camping here. And this is my great aunt and great uncle where my grandma's buried, blah, blah, blah. It's a part of Wisconsin where the Wisconsin River and the Mississippi River come together. Mm. And it's a very beautiful little area. Iowa is there. But what happened was because those two rivers came together, they created this, thousands of years ago. It's also the area where the glaciers didn't scrape Wisconsin. So it's very, very hilly and there's all these valleys, but there's all this beautifully laid sediment of dirt that the rivers have deposited at this intersection, which makes it really good for farming. Hence all the farmers. So I have slight farming connections in my past too, Kady, but it's more like 3 or 4 generations before me, not so much, maybe 2 generations before me, where you literally lived it, didn't you?
I did. We were goat farmers. It was great. I miss it.
Yep. So what are we talking about today? And then we can get into our listener feedback and also the way we look.
Yeah. We are talking about our top 10 sorcerers and wizards and just general magic users. Within the Zelda games.
It was hard at first, and then all of a sudden it was rapid fire. I found so many. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hit up a lot of different little books, a lot of different wikis, a lot of different lists to kind of think of what I wanted to do. And then I was like, oh yeah, I have a lot of honorable mentions now.
I see. Oh, I was going to talk about this too. I have so many honorable mentions that I almost want to invert my list and my honorable mentions. I'm not going to, funny. But after I got done with it, I liked my honorable mentions almost more than my list, that I was like, but I'm going to leave it how it is, and so be it.
Yeah, I do not like my honorable mentions more than my list. That's why they're there. However, I do think one of my honorable mentions will make you laugh, but it's near and dear to my heart.
That's cool. The reason I liked my honorable mentions more was because I feel like my list is really good picks, honestly, but they're all kind of in a similar category.
Yeah.
And I realized, that's not quite as exciting, But anyways, we'll get there. For now, hey, you have pink hair again.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess it was red a few months ago. It was more like.
Yeah. So I dyed my hair red. All right. I dyed my hair red a month ago, month and a half.
And I haven't seen you in a month. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Looked amazing. I have some pictures online. It was not this color. It was fire bright red and all this.
Yeah.
I'd used the dye before, all good. I went home. I was like, my face feels itchy. I had hives all over my body and my arms were swollen. I had a severe, well, not like a severe allergic reaction because that'd be like anaphylaxis, but I had one so bad I had to go and get like an allergy shot because it would not go away.
Wow.
So my hair looks like this now because I literally had to like strip it with like Dawn dish soap to try and get the color out.
Fascinating. I mean, it looks great. It's kind of like there's a gradient to it right now. I thought it was by design.
So I ended up going, I told you a little off stream. I went and did a
off stream.
I
love it.
Mic, whatever.
No, that's cool.
I went and did an environmental allergen test for the first time yesterday.
Well, while we were setting up, you told me about that, but I didn't realize it was connected to the hair situation.
Yeah, because I was like, what's going on? Which apparently she thought it was a bunch of different factors. And I guess I just have sensitive skin and it just made my body freak out because I'm not allergic to anything in it. But I am allergic to dust, autumn plants and most plants, but you know,
cool.
And feathers. So
wow.
Yeah.
Did they do all the little shots, all the little dabs? You had the grit on your skin or whatever?
Yeah, they did 80 of them on my back, which if you've never done one and have been nervous to go, it doesn't hurt when they do your back. It feels like just like a fork touching you. But then nothing really came back on my back. So they did the 17 most popular allergens on my arm. That kind of hurt because it was like 17 little itty bitty shots.
They prick it into your skin?
Yeah, they have to go under the first layer. And that's when like I got like little bug bites, basically like if I had mosquito bites. And that's when they could tell like, okay, you're allergic to this stuff. But I'm going to go back for food one because I keep finding foods I'm allergic to. And I'm really excited to do the food one because that isn't anything on your arm. It's just your back. So I'm like set. And my parents are very nice in paying for it. So I don't have to worry about the medical bills either.
Dang.
But that being said, I'm a constant... My roommate calls me a Victorian child because I'm constantly sick. So I'm also currently have an ear infection I'm working through. So.
You're just building up your immune system, Kady.
No, the problem is I have a immune deficiency. So I'm constantly...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm constantly going through it, but I'm here and I'm happy.
I'm happy you're here. Yeah. Yeah. You look great. You're literally glowing right now with your pinkish reddish hair and all the rest.
And your mustache looks great.
I have a mustache. Yeah, I'm into it. I love it.
Yeah, it's giving like old school cop vibes.
Oh, check this out.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna switch to my aviators. Boom.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, yeah, this is like 80s cop. I love it.
Ma'am. All right. Yes. We're taking a while to get in here, but it's nice to catch up a little. I got a mustache. It's fun. I switch my facial hair a lot. Sometimes I'll do the goatees or the beards. I usually think I have like a kind of like a light beard. But anyways, I've had the mustache for a couple months. I'm actually loving it. I'm going to keep it for a while. I think, if I may, well, Michelle really likes it. And I think it kind of gives me a little bit of a little kind of dapper look. I'm kind of into it.
No, I like it.
Let's get into our listener feedback.
Absolutely. Did you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
I don't know. You've got it in your hand. You got 5 of them. Why don't you do it? You read 3. I'll read 2.
Okay. I'm going to start with this one. It's over on Instagram from Cone the Mustache Man. I think I'm going to try and pronounce this name because I pulled it up on Google because I have a hard time. I can't read it. I think it's Nemanja, I think is this guy's name. Anyway, it is specifically in response to top 10. Oh, it's a little blurry. What does it say?
Oh, it is blurry.
What episode is that?
Nope, we don't have the title. Oh, top 10 shrines.
That's
an old one. Holy moly, that's a season 1.
Top 10 shrines. Hey guys, many support and regards from Serbia just on this episode of your podcast. Literally found it a few days ago. Love listening to you. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I love seeing all the people listening from all over the place. It's so weird to think that it's kind of that widespread.
I remember when it first started in season 1, when our analytics showed that people were listening all over the world, and when we started getting feedback from all over the world, but it still kind of surprises me every single time. It's cool. Okay, here we go. This is over on Apple Podcasts, it looks like. And from Cade 6000, we have a 5-star review, and it says here, best podcast! Exclamation points, green heart emoji. I just started listening after the Ocarina of Time 3D episode, which was, of course, our first episode for this season. Because I wanted to see if it was a good game or if I should play the Nintendo 64 version. Yes, fantastic. I just started playing Legend of Zelda, and I started with Breath of the Wild, and I'm working my way down just like Kady.
Oh, cool.
I love how you guys are connected to the Zelda cast. Oh, yep, wonderful. We love Zelda Dungeon. We're good friends with them. Or at least I would consider us to be.
I use them 24/7. Much appreciated to them.
Yeah, you just got back from their Zelda Dungeon Marathon, which is a blast. Okay. And I know now, and I now know a pod I definitely will add to my library. Fantastic. I hope it's us. I'm joking. Thank you so much for making this, and I would be ecstatic if you were to read this on listener feedback. Remember, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this. And there's about 30 green hearts and a green check mark. Kate 6000, thank you so much for that 5-star review over there on Apple Podcasts. We certainly appreciate it.
This one is by Rebecca over on Instagram, and it's specifically in response to... You posted a picture of us when we were eating and like going over our plan for this season.
Yeah, I've talked about this on our some of our Patreon episodes. But yeah, when we were kind of getting our season set up here, we got a few episodes into season 7, and pretty quickly, I think because you and I realized that we were able to get together fairly often now that we're like almost literally neighbors.
Yeah.
That we could kind of go back to the old model of season 1 and 2, where we could plan the whole season out ahead of time instead of just scraping and scrapping and trying to come up with stuff. So we sat down for about 2-3 hours, you and I, at West Town Bakery over here.
Such good food there.
It really was fantastic. And we both had our iPads and we hashed out the rest of the season. We know, you and I right now know all the way, what every single episode will be, all the way up to episode 22. We might even have a 23 in there, 22 of this season.
Yeah.
So that's fun. So yeah, we posted an Instagram post, and what, someone commented? Yeah,
you posted it just saying like, we're coming up with the new season, any requests for episodes, basically. So Rebecca says, or our record is her tag, deep dive on musical themes throughout the series. Some of the main themes were introduced in Link to the Past and Ocarina, and were often featured in pre-Switch games. But I will look forward to any topics. Always love your episodes. Green heart. I love new music episodes. 100%. We all know this.
This has to happen. I think as you get a couple more games under your belt, Kady, we'll do exactly like the listener requested. There are repeating themes where it might be Zelda's Lullaby and all 9 of its versions or whatever. You know what I mean? Or the main theme or Hyrule Field theme. Yeah. And how it gets reinterpreted.
I will say, I have a list on my phone of all the Zelda games I've played, all the ones I still have to play, and then if I own them or whatnot. And I was really excited because I ended up just preemptively marking off Phantom Hourglass last night because I'm on the last boss.
Yeah.
And I'm making amazing progress. I'm very happy. I think I have I'm halfway through all the games now.
I think including every single last little handheld game and all the rest, I think you're just cusping over playing half the games.
Yeah.
You've played most of the mainline console games at this point, which is something to be said right there. Yes, I think it's great. I think this is so exciting because I haven't finished Oracle of Seasons, and I haven't finished A Link Between Worlds, and I haven't played Spirit Tracks, and those are my 3. But otherwise, I've played every Zelda game and or completed every Zelda game, and I'm so happy that in some ways I can speak to that, and in other ways you're kind of like you represent another section of our listeners that maybe have discovered Zelda recently, and then they can kind of go back into the library. All right, over here, let's see. This might have been on. Oh, is this literally an email?
I think it is. Yeah.
Actually an email to another Zelda podcast at gmail.com from Luca H. And Luca here says, "Hi, ZP. Been a fan of the show since 2019 and love Zelda. It would mean so much if you gave me a shout out or just emailed me. So yeah, well, here's the shout out, and maybe I should reply to the email, Luca. I'm so sorry. We have a siren in the background. If you can hear that, I apologize. We have the windows open today.
And they're just getting the Chicago ambience.
Yeah, well, and then there's the horns honking. Yeah. All we need is an L train going.
Nice enough for you to fall asleep to, right? We got one last one.
Thank you so much, Luca.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Luca. We got one last one. It's from Becky Hart with like an actual heart emoji.
Yeah.
This is on Instagram, and it's also on that same post about any requests for episodes.
Yes.
Becky says, Tears of the Kingdom mysteries, theories are just top ones. Example, what the heck is going on in the Gerudo depths? What is the bubble frog? What are the statues in the depths? Where is Cass?
Oof, yeah, that's a good one.
I would love to do, even if it's just a bonus episode, like a theories episode or like a headcanon episode. I feel like that would be very fun.
And with us hearing that for the most part, Tears of the Kingdom won't be getting a direct sequel, there is so much that'll probably be left open to interpretation. It'll be a lot of fun to do that. That's a great idea. If we have an episode in our list that ends up coming to be that we can't produce it or something, I know we got a quiz episode in there and stuff like that. I think that's a great one to do. And then maybe season 8 is where we try to do the music one. We got to get a few more games, like I said, under your belt. And there it is. All right, Kady.
Yeah.
I am ready to build our top 10 list of magicians and or sorcerers.
Yes.
For you, what was the criteria?
I kind of broke it down into magic users that...
Magic user, baby. I'm so sorry. I had to do the community reference.
Yeah, magic users, basically, is kind of what I narrowed it down to. People that have magical innate abilities, or that they have something that causes them to have magical abilities, but it's not that they can just do one thing with them.
So there's an implied skill set.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
So they have to have been able to do at least like 2 or more things. So a lot of these on my list are people that have been seen doing a lot of different magical things.
Fascinating. I love it. For me, I think I went more in the sorcerer line. And then some of them are magicians. And even I'm kind of glancing at my, is there anyone here that can only do one thing? Maybe one of my honorable mentions can only do one thing, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
All right, cool. Anyways, would you be willing to share your fifth favorite?
Absolutely.
Magician and or sorcerer?
So my fifth is, I feel like everyone, when you think of it, this topic, you think of this character/characters. Mine is Twinrova.
That was an honorable mention for me.
Yeah. So I did Twinrova because they stood out to me so much when I played Ocarina. Their theme, I listened to a remix of their theme all the time. And also, I think their abilities are very unique because they are the mothers of Ganon, which that alone is a very interesting situation of like, did they create Ganon? Did they adopt Ganon? What's going on there? But also, they're intriguing because they both have their own abilities, right? They can fly, they do witch stuff. I know in Majora's Mask, like they even like run like a potion shop. But
Yeah. That would still be. I was almost gonna say I don't think they do any magic in Majora's, but I guess they
fly
do.
around on their broomsticks too.
Yeah. They do fly. You're absolutely right. They absolutely have magic.
But one does fire, one does ice, and then they can also combine to become like the ultimate Twinrova or whatever, and do both. And I don't know. When I think of this topic, I think of them. So I thought I had to put them on the list.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. My number 5 is one that you may not know about, but you'll know soon enough. I chose Yuga from A Link Between Worlds.
Okay.
I wish I had a picture. Maybe I should have done pictures of the ones that I don't know of, the games that you haven't played. But Yuga is the big bad in A Link Between Worlds. And he, even though actually I have to confess, when I was playing the game, I thought Yuga was female, but Yuga uses male pronouns, and
it's like the Sheik situation. Everyone thought Sheik was a male, and then it turned out
a little bit. And I did a little deep diving on it, and I guess there was supposed to be a kind of performative aspect to Yuga. Where Yuga was kind of embracing many, a spectrum of tropes and aesthetics kind of on purpose. And so Yuga is an artist. Yuga's a little bit of a narcissist. What their big thing is that they have this magic paintbrush, or they have this ability to make 3D things become 2D
paintings. And that's why the game is the game, I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, early on in the game, you meet Yuga. And also Yuga has big red hair, so there's kind of like, is Yuga Ganon? Yeah. There is spoiler alert, there's a Yuga Ganon at the end of the game, a bit like Twinrova, they combine a little bit. But no, I can't remember. Now, it's been a little while since I've played the very, very beginning of A Link Between Worlds. But, Yuga gets away in the beginning, and I can't remember if like a little piece of his brush falls to the ground, but somehow Link gets a piece or the thing and to turn himself into a 2D painting. And that's how he attaches to walls and stuff like that. I'm looking at my notes. I was worried this was going to happen. I said before we started recording that I took lengthy notes on this one, and sometimes I think that messes with my flow. I do better if I just have smaller notes. But all the other things about Yuga is even more than some of the other baddies in Zelda games. Yuga is very obsessed with himself, and actually also there's, I think in the Hyrule Historia, in the encyclopedia, they literally call Yuga a sorcerer. Yeah.
No, I'm a very big fan of characters, especially within Zelda games, that are very narcissistic. I don't know what it says about me, but like, again, we'll talk about it when we do Phantom Hourglass. Absolutely adore Linebeck. I love those kind of characters.
Oh, Linebeck. Yeah. Linebeck was different for me this time around than the first time I played. I had different emotions about him, and I guess I'll save that for next week's episode or next episode. But yeah, so I'm going with Yuga. And maybe that's all. Yuga has like big robes and it kind of has a bit of a Gerudo aesthetic, but I don't think there's actually a connection there.
Yeah.
That's my number 5.
My number 4, I technically have not finished this game. I've played a little bit of this game, but I wanted to bring him in.
Oh my gosh. And yeah.
It was Skull Kid.
Whoa, not what I expected at all.
Yeah, I did Skull Kid because technically... Okay, originally, the Skull Kids are kind of magical, but the specific Skull Kid from Majora's Mask makes him magical. So he has all these different abilities. He can turn people into Deku Scrubs. He can fly. He can shoot lasers. He can do all this different crazy stuff. And I felt like, even though I haven't fully played Majora's Mask yet, because we put a halt on it to play Phantom, he already is such a big head of the Zelda games, and everything that I've seen of him, he's like that creepy sorcerer. I guess not really a sorcerer. It'd be more like a warlock, I guess, because he's getting his abilities from some dark entity. I
thought about this. I almost put Majora's Mask on as one of my honorable mentions, because like my impression is I don't there's a whole conversation to be had, and maybe we save this for an eventual Majora's Mask episode, but like, is Majora's Mask sentient? Is it the sorcerer? Was Skull Kid a victim of the sorcery?
I believe that.
That's kind of what I think too.
That's what I think.
That's why I didn't quite put him on my list here.
Okay.
But let's keep talking about it.
But yeah, just his abilities to like fully bring the moon down. I do feel I was hesitant to put him on this list. But I wanted to include him.
I do know, Skull Kid by way of Majora's Mask, definitely like
more in a warlock sense.
That's where you're coming from with the warlock. Yeah. I see. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. Because he definitely floats and stuff and can make and just snaps in and out of existence and all that. It's all magical based stuff. Cool. Yes. I love it. All right, so right now we have. I'm building the list here. I always forget to do this with our top 10s. We had Twin Rova, and then I put Yuga down, and then you have Skull Kid, right? Mm-hmm. Skull Kid parenthesis Majora's Mask. Yeah. And so my 4th one is kind of similar to Yuga. This is why I kind of realized some of mine are. I don't know if I said this in the opening or in the real episode, but my 5 are very similarly categorized. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I
have a guess of what it might be.
What do you think?
Is it Vati?
It's Vati. Yeah. It's Vati. Very similar, kind of similar in style to Yuga, but Vati is something else, I tell you. Vati started in, I think it was Minish Cap.
Yeah, Minish Cap and then Four Swords, which I only know from Four Swords because I played a little bit of it with the Zelda Dungeon Cast. I haven't played Minish Cap yet, though, which I'm excited to play.
You're going to thoroughly enjoy Minish Cap.
Yeah.
I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy it, and there's a couple different ways to play it, and we'll figure it out when the time comes. I still enjoy Majora's Mask.
Minish Cap.
Minish Cap. Anyways, so Vati also got some style. Vati was mild spoilers, but it's literally the first 2 minutes of Minish Cap. Mm-hmm. But you discover that Vati was the student of Eslo, which is another magic user on my honorable mentions. Mm. Eslo, I'm not going to say what or who Eslo is in the game, but Vati, it's the classic kind of like Darth Vader, Obi-Wan thing where the student becomes corrupted a bit with power and wanting to try to do things that maybe the master says don't do those things and the rest. And so Vati becomes more and more monstrous as I believe he progresses through the games. At the point, by the time you're done with some of these games, like just this huge eyeball floating around and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think Vadi's actually been in 3 Zelda games, which makes him one of the few Zelda baddies other than Ganon that actually appear in multiple Zelda games. But Vadi can do stuff like change size of things, control the weather, a few other things I can't quite remember. But I do know that Vadi becomes monstrous, but starts literally as one to study magic. And I also wanted to include Vadi because, for all intents and purposes, Vadi, if we're just counting how many games the baddie's in, is kind of second to Ganon, even over many other big bads.
That's very cool. I am excited. I saw, when I was looking to try and come up with my list, I saw Vadi appear a lot, and I do like the design of Vadi a lot, so I'm excited to see him in the game.
Yes, I agree. And I'm pretty, it's kind of, I'm thinking about Minish Cap right now, and it's kind of one of these, like, it's a little bit like Aghanim in A Link to the Past or Zant in Twilight Princess, where they kind of appear in the beginning and they actually disappear for a while, but they're kind of ever present. Maybe a little bit like the one in Skyward Sword that becomes Ganon's sword. What's his name?
Oh, Girahim.
Girahim, yeah, of course. A little bit of that where they kind of pop in.
Girahim. Yeah.
I love it. That's cool. Well, okay, so I put Vadi in there, and I think let's go to break, and we'll come back and we'll do our final 6.
Cool.
And build the whole list. So right now it's Twinrova, Yuga, Skull Kid, and Vadi. See you in a minute. Or in a bit. I tried to say both.
Yeah, I figured.
We are back from the break. Kady, how are you?
Good. I'm great. That was a weird lead-in.
Yeah, I did it on purpose, okay? So deal with it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just joking around.
Got a little attitude today. Sure.
All right, let's get right into it here.
Yeah.
Let's do our third, second, and first picks for our magicians. I almost said musicians, magicians and sorcerers. I will jump right in here.
Do you want to start with your third?
Oh, yeah, I guess it is you first. I apologize.
It's okay. You can.
No. If you go, that means I get my number 1 as the last one, which is very dramatic.
My number 3 is one I don't think you would ever guess in a million years.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I'm very proud of it. My number 3 is Master Koga from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
What?
So, hear me out. All right?
I'm in, but yes.
Master Koga, you're like, Kady, that's a ninja. Yes, however, it's a magical ninja. Because he can do a lot of different things between levitation, summoning. Yeah. He has like telekinetic powers. He has like magnetic powers. And also he can glamour himself because in Age of Calamity, he's disguised as Urbosa.
Yep,
a lot of the time. So this dude has power after power after power. However, he's too little brained to like actually make things work. That's his own fault. Also, technically, not if you think it from not just a gameplay standpoint, he's immune to stasis. You can't stasis him in his battles.
Well, that's awesome. I never thought about that. You're right.
So, very magical guy. I think he's near and dear to my heart. I love Master Koga very much. I would love for him to make an appearance in the future. I doubt he will. But Master Koga and Suga, I think they're a very funny duo.
I'm in. I love it. And, there was a little part of me at first that was like, well, sometimes the whole like ninja style character throwing down a snap bead and then like disappearing. Yeah. Sometimes that's a little bit like implied as they're just that good at disappearing. Oh, yeah. But he does so much more.
Yeah, he does a ton of magic. It's kind of crazy. He's such a weird character.
And his best magical trick is having a spotlight on him while he's talking. Absolutely. Yeah, you can summon a spotlight.
His best magical trick is being able to sit there and monologue and you can't move.
Yeah, that's it exactly. That's great. I love it. Well, my number 3, we've kind of spoken about this character a little bit already, but I think that this is I'm very comfortable with the placement of this character. My third top sorcerer and or magician is, of course, Aghanim from A Link to the Past. You have not played this game yet, I believe, Kady. There will be a day we're going to review it all over again. Aghanim is so this was A Link to the Past was the third Zelda game ever made. Mm-hmm. And in many ways, it was the first one that really started kind of setting the mold for what future Zelda games would be. The first Zelda game was what it was. Number 2 was kind of like an experimental departure, very similar to how Super Mario Brothers 2 was a different. Well, no, actually not similar at all, because Super Mario Brothers 2 was a different game. Everybody knows all about that. I digress. I apologize. I've derailed the conversation. But A Link to the Past was a light remake, as Nintendo so often does with some of their IPs, of the original Zelda game, but for the Super Nintendo, of course, and with the powers of what the Super Nintendo had. With that said, though, and I think A Link to the Past is technically, yes, it is. It's timeline wise, it's a prequel to those two games, but there is a sorcerer right in the beginning that entraps the king and all the things, does all the things to the kingdom, and you are trying to defeat Aghanim for what you understand to be the game. Mm-hmm. And what we know now is that it's really the first 3 dungeons. It's very Ocarina of Time that way, or rather, Ocarina of Time is very A Link to the Past that way, where you, in fact, I remember the marketing campaign, the literal television commercials for A Link to the Past, the voiceover, it was the 1980s, and it was like, I think they had an actual actor running around, and it was like The Legend of Zelda. Once you think it's over, you realize it's only just begun.
Oh, you talked about this before.
And this is because Aghanim is the big bad for the first 3 dungeons. Mm-hmm. Or rather, you go collect 3 things to defeat Aghanim. And as you do, you then learn that Ganon has been controlling Aghanim. This is a theme that repeats often in Zelda games. Mm-hmm. Some of the Zelda games you haven't played yet also have this theme, but I don't mind it. Yeah. As well, this is the first Zelda game, pardon me, that ever did it. So Aghanim is a sorcerer. Aghanim can teleport. Aghanim can do a couple other things, can shoot magic fireballs and all the things. Very sorcery look, very like in the cloak, blue cloak kind of thing. And, the hood is so far forward that you only see like glowing eyes and stuff like that. Though I think I even have it. In the comic book, you see Aghanim's actual face and stuff like that. They actually rendered it. I'll see if I can find that someday, maybe in time, because we're going to start reviewing like the mangas and stuff like that. Yeah, I have
all of them except for Twilight Princess, since that one's still so new.
And maybe you can see I have all of Twilight Princess right there. Maybe I can like kind of lend it to you or something or whatever. Yeah. But I digress. Aghanim also is kind of cool because from a history of Zelda point of view, Aghanim is a character, not much going on there. I'll be honest. It's kind of the bad in the beginning. You go, okay, I'll go collect the things to defeat the bad. Mm-hmm. But once you do, Aghanim was the first time in a Zelda game where I call it volleyball or tennis mechanic started. Aghanim would throw things at you and you could hit them back at Aghanim. I
love that mechanic.
After the 3rd dungeon, it was the very first time it ever happened. As well, once you quote unquote defeat Aghanim, you learn that Ganon was controlling him. However, there's like a lore around Aghanim where you never really definitively know if Ganon was controlling him or if Ganon was disguised as him. And so this really could have just been Ganon the whole time. And certainly as the 3rd Zelda game ever where the only bad guy has ever been Ganon, that kind of tracks. Yeah. That's not the case in other Zelda games. So Aghanim kind of, I think for some people might even be the number 1 sorcerer of all time in all Zelda games. The first sorcerer in some ways. But for me, Aghanim is number 3.
Very cool. My number 2, we talked a little about this when we took our break, about how originally I had Ganon on my list, replaced him with Skull Kid, because I was like, I feel kind of weird putting the main 3 on this list.
To that point, I had Zelda for a while.
I was going to say, however, I did include Zelda as my number 2. I did include Zelda as my number 2 because
we did not plan that.
Listen, all right. I feel like she can be the exception because whereas Ganon, it's like, okay, he can sometimes in games just be this essence. Yes. Zelda is always Zelda. Zelda has the blood of Hylia in her, and she is naturally a sorceress because of this. And also with a lot of her games, say like Breath of the Wild, she just light power. But now that Echoes of Wisdom exists, she has like a little magic staff.
That's true.
That fully makes her like a sorceress / wizard, because now she can use her staff to like make things appear, move things around. I Had to include her.
I agree completely. I jumped down to my honorable mentions here because I did have Zelda in there. And some of the things I pointed out in my notes are that she has ceiling magic in almost all the Zelda games, even though her like powers kind of vary because there are different Zeldas. But she almost always has some kind of version of like the light arrows, which kind of becomes like the light push thing you were talking about. That's definitely magic. And she also often has Hylia's divine power imbued in her too, which makes her very sorcery-ish.
Exactly.
Cool. Anything else to say about Zelda? Otherwise, I'm going to go to my 2.
I love her beloved Zelda.
Copy. All right. Yep. Cool. Let's put oh my gosh, the list. Wait, the list. What was number 6?
Oh, number 6 was Koga.
Oh, yeah. Koga. And then 5 would have been my Aghanim. 4 right now is Zelda, sounds like. And 3 is going to be, I think I've mentioned him already in this episode. In fact, I know I have. Can you guess who it is? It's another game. Today is just the list of games that Kady hasn't played, I'm realizing. All of them, almost, I think every pick so far. Wait. You've kind of, oh my gosh. I mean, you know who Vadi is, but Yuga, A Link Between Worlds, Vadi the Minish Cap, Aghanim, A Link to the Past, and Zant from Twilight Princess are all games that you haven't played yet, I'm realizing.
Oh, yeah. I also heard of Zant's name when I was looking at stuff, but I didn't look into it because I was like, I don't know that game yet.
Yeah. And here we were at the top of the episode talking about how many games you've played, and I'm so pleased with how many more games you've played. And as someone who played Breath of the Wild as their first Zelda game ever, I think you are just being a full student of the franchise here as far as how aggressively you are going back into all the games and playing them. Super cool.
It's fun.
And in some ways, I think and hope that parallels some of our new listeners for the show. But Zant from Twilight Princess is, say it with me now, the big bad for the first half of the game.
Wow. Jazz hands.
How often does it happen? It's like every single Zelda game. It's always Ganondorf at the end, or Ganon at the end. But Zant is something else. Zant is terrifying. I don't know if you've ever seen the opening cutscene of Twilight Princess. Maybe I'll share it with you someday, or maybe we just save it.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay pretty blind to Twilight Princess because I know it's such a big game. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, we have one or two other games lined up for reviews, but then I think we do like a nice solid Twilight Princess. Maybe it's part of season 8 where we do like a first impressions.
Yeah.
Then like a review. Maybe we do 2 or 3 Twilight Princess episodes in season 8. I've often talked about Twilight Princess being one of my favorite Zelda games, if not my favorite Zelda game, even though I think there's plenty of other contenders for other reasons. And maybe Twilight Princess just hit me at the right time where I was, kind of entering adulthood, and the vibes of the game hit me just right. But for what it was for what it was when it came out, it's a phenomenal game, even with its flaws, and it's very dramatic, and I hope you enjoy it. And Zant is introduced right at the top, and Zant he wears this huge mask, which makes him a little Darth Vader-y in that, like, he's super intimidating because you really don't know what's going on underneath. He doesn't move much, but immediately kind of has like force powers a little bit. Immediately can do things and move people around. Later on, I moved my cord. I hope we're okay with recording. Yep. All right, cool. So let's see. Very much a sorcerer in that way. Zant, the one pivot is that Zant does come from the Twilight realm. And so I don't know if the one thing I kind of don't know is if those powers that he has are normal in the Twilight realm and he just has them, or is this magic that he has studied? But I'm going to go with magic he's studied. Let's see. He 100% has magic, because in the inevitable boss fight with Zant, which actually doesn't happen. That is one thing that's nice. Doesn't happen halfway through the game. You learn about Ganondorf halfway through the game, but it's not just like, I zip zap zopped this medium bad guy out of the way and now it's Ganon. They continue to coexist in certain ways that are interesting. And the reasons you even fight Zant become, a little bit of not a love triangle, but like a combat triangle almost is what happens with Link, Zant, and Ganondorf. You know what I mean? And let me just put it this way. I don't want to give too much away, but our listeners will know. When you fight Zant, the mask comes off, and Zant is Zant is still their own, I guess, like corporeal creature. It doesn't change into like a big squid monster or something like that. But Zant is unhinged when that mask comes off. I almost reverse Majora's Mask. I just realized there's some combinations there. And so, yeah, I think that's it. it. Zan from Twilight Princess is my number 2 because, oh my gosh, even when everyone first started playing Twilight Princess, they were like, what the heck is up with this Zant character? Zant is so terrifying in the beginning of the game that he almost exclusively eliminates Hyrule just with his presence.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah, Zant. Number 2. 3, Zant.
Yeah.
Yep. What's your... No, look at what I wrote down. I wrote down the number 3.
Oh, beautiful. Good job.
Okay, cool. What's your number 1? So number 2 for our big list.
My number 1.
Yeah.
I think is, from what I have played so far, the most sorcerer that ever did sorcerer in Legend of Zelda games.
Oh my God.
And that is Aster from Age of Calamity.
I almost put them in here.
Yeah. So Aster from Age of Calamity is very interesting as a character. And I wish that he wasn't just a one-off character in Age of Calamity. I wish he was in like an actual like big game.
When that trailer came out and it was only his eyes, everyone thought it was Vadi.
Yeah, he's very cool. So they don't give you any backstory as to why he is the way he is, where he came from. He just exists as this. They call him the what did they call him? The Prophet of Doom.
Yeah.
Or Suga calls him the Seer a lot because one of his main things is he can see the future, and he can see how Breath of the Wild is originally supposed to take place. Ganon taking over and ruling, and in response to that, Aster says, okay, this is it's a calamity. I'm going to take control of the calamity so I can rule. And basically he wants to rule Ganon, which is such an interesting thing. It's such a cool character. Not only that, but he kind of gets away with controlling Ganon for almost all of the game, where he can summon the blights whenever he wants.
That's true.
He can cause things to possess people. And then also when Koga and Suga start going against Aster, because the whole time they're working with Aster because he's like, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to basically sick Ganon on you.
Right.
Then he ends up making a construct of Link, basically, to fight them, which is so cool and so fascinating that he's able to do that. Not only that, but he also is seen doing various like blood sacrifices throughout the game. So like,
you're right, I forgot about that.
Which is why Koga and Suga get mad at him in the first place, because whenever any of the Yiga die, he literally takes their soul and uses it to become stronger, him and Ganon, until eventually at the end of the game, he does his big fight against Link and them. And then Ganon is finally strong enough where he can seize control back from Aster, and he completely corrupts Aster and causes him to become one with Ganon, which is very cool.
That is cool. I have not beaten Age of Calamity. I didn't realize that happened with Aster. That's awesome.
It's very cool. I like him a lot.
I did the big Deku Tree fight with Aster, but I think that's kind of like halfway through the game, or maybe third.
Where the Deku Tree fight was when I really realized how much I liked Aster as a character and how interesting he was. He has a great voice, a great character design. I wish he was in more.
Well, yeah. And into that, the biggest critique to Age of Calamity is that it's in a separate time. It in the beginning sets itself. It is canon that it is not canon, in that it is canon in a different timeline. It's
an alternate universe.
Universe. And that's kind of the part that's a little bit disappointing sometimes. I've said it before, but I think the fact that Aster exists in, let's just say, the main timeline to create that alternate timeline puts Aster's canon. Aster is like in the main Zelda storyline. From as far as Aster being Aster, from a making the game point of view, from a legal point of view, Aster was a creation of Team Ninja, not of Nintendo. Like they, just like Hyrule Warriors has 2 characters that Team Ninja created, or Capcom, whatever, Team Ninja. And there might even be 1 or 2 characters in this new one, the Imprisoning Wars, that Team Ninja makes. And there might be a part of the contract where they have to make 1 or 2 original IP characters. Maybe it's for certain rights or ownership or something like that. And that's why Aster, for me, in my eyes, I am saying this, no one else has said this, that's why Aster wasn't Vadi. But boy, even when I saw that trailer, I was like, that would be so cool if we take the second most common bad guy in Zelda games and bring him in. But alas, Aster's still a great character.
I'm very excited for Imprisoning Wars. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm really looking forward to it.
I enjoyed Age of Calamity for what it was, and Imprisoning Wars will be nice for what it was, what it is, what it will be. They're nice games to have as part of your library and to continue the story.
Exactly. I like them for story, for the story purposes.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So I told you when we started recording this episode that I had a bit of a theme with my list. And that's why I've got a good 4 or 5 honorable mentions. And I think I even joked, that is my Kenosha coming out. I think I even joked that, I almost wanted to switch my honorable mentions with my main list, because I realized that my main list, very much by accident, really is just all the other big bads in Zelda games except Ganon. That's what my whole list is. Yuga, Vaati, Aghanim, Zant. And I kind of realized, that's a little uninspired, even though they are kind of like the biggest, baddest, most famous, I guess, sorcerers or whatever, magic users. But my number one pick is very off that path.
Okay.
My number one pick is not one of the main big bads. My number one pick is Rauru from Ocarina of Time.
Very good pick.
Yeah, not kind of the OG, wizard magic user kind of thing.
I was debating putting some of like the sages and stuff on there, but I wasn't sure.
I agree that they kind of could be. They get imbued with magic. The reason I'm going with Rauru is Rauru and Ocarina of Time Rauru, not Tears of the Kingdom Rauru. By the way, in Tears of the Kingdom Rauru, I mean, there's a little bit of magic. Everybody's got
he absolutely is a magic user.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he's the one that seals Ganon and everything. Maybe. And Queen Sonia, absolutely. I have them as my honorable mentions.
Ooh, we'll talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Because I think I've seen all of the Teardrop memories, but I haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom yet. I'm still stuck at that Goron temple, even though I only play it like once every 2 months. That's why it's taking so long. But maybe there's a few cutscenes I haven't seen. And quite frankly, as I played Tears of the Kingdom, even though I often get excited about this stuff, I didn't pay super close attention to the Tears memories. I kind of watched them and moved on. I should revisit them to better understand these characters. But anyway, Rauru from Ocarina of Time built the Temple of Time using magic, and so to speak. Created is the keeper of the Sacred Realm, which is the doorway to that is in the Temple of Time. Rauru is one of the only sages that kind of really truly exists in that ethereal nothing space that's not represented by another like dungeon or temple in the real world. All the other sages had physical existences in Ocarina of Time. However, I think you could argue that maybe the Temple of Time is like Rauru's physical place as well. I do agree with I think Nintendo confirmed theory of Rauru being, of course, Gabora in the beginning of Ocarina of Time. Yeah. So I think Rauru does have like a physical presence. And the biggest thing for Rauru is, the reason is maybe not a stretch, but I was thinking about like, well, wait a second. When does Rauru actually there's no moment where he spins some magical orbs and fireballs out and shoots things and does the great powers. But if you think about it, I think he's so stinking magical that he is Link putting the sword in. He is the Sacred Realm. He is the existence of all of that, and the time jumps and all of the things. I think that's all in my opinion, my headcanon is that he's completely in control of that kind of magic. So I'm going Rauru. I'm going Rauru as my number one pick for a magic using wizard and or sorcerer in a Zelda game.
Awesome.
So your number one was what?
Aster.
Oh gosh. Wow. That's right. Yeah.
Did you put Aston?
No, it's just my handwriting is so bad. So before we get to our honorable mentions, our list here is Twin Rova, Yuga, Skull Kid with the Majora's Mask, Vaati, Koga, Aghanim, Zelda, Zant, Aster, and Rauru. I like it.
I'm happy how high up Koga is. It makes my heart happy. I like that he's above Vaati.
I love this. I love your chaos here. And I mean that as a compliment because look, Aster's number 2.
I like him up there.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. It's awesome. You know what I mean? Aster's above Aghanim and stuff like that. So anyways, I did try to go a little more deep divey with some of my honorable mentions. One that I have is Hilda from A Link Between Worlds. She's kind of a version of another baddie in the Link Between Worlds, but she learns the magic to try to save her low rule area, and then it kind of falls out of control and stuff like that. So it's also an example of magic not just being used to throw magic fireballs or magic, being used, being used to try to like do good things and stuff like that. I don't know. What are a few that you have? You had not Zelda in there. You had
I had King Rauru from Tears of the Kingdom and Queen Sonia.
Let's do them right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So King Rauru doesn't show his magical abilities as much, which is why I didn't put him, but he is the main person that seals Ganon away and does a lot with magic there. But Queen Sonia has all the abilities Zelda does because she's the first descendant of Hylia. So she is the original magic user, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to put them in like that honorable mention. I'm excited to see more of what they can do in Imprisoning Wars, which is also why they are on the honorable mentions, because I know we're going to see more from them soon. Yeah,
that's great. I love that. I had Eslo in here as one of my honorable mentions. I already mentioned Eslo. Eslo was the master to oh my gosh, I just forgot his name. Vadi in the Minish Cap. Eslo is a little bit of a Yoda character in that he's a bit of a crotchety old man, I guess you could say. And do you know anything about Eslo?
I know nothing about that game.
Then I don't want to say too much. But Eslo also has powers.
Okay.
And Eslo is, for the people who know, if you know, you know, Eslo is cursed.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
All right, cool. We'll leave it at that. I also threw in the fortune tellers on all Zelda games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're kind of like magic users. It's a game mechanic, but I think the first fortune teller that really gave you hints as what to do, I think was in A Link to the Past. I mean, that third Zelda game. I don't think there was any fortune tellers in Zelda 1 or 2. However, my last honorable mention here is, so in Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, there are magicians in all the towns. And they're like wise old men. And sometimes you'll be in a town and be like, go talk to the old man to get the power that helps you jump higher, or the power that, the actual magic. So in the original Legend of Zelda, there really isn't a magic system. I don't even think you have like arrow inventories. I think it costs money. Every arrow you shoot, you lose a gem or something. Okay. They just didn't have it wasn't as robust, the mechanics. But in Zelda 2, it was the first time that we really distinctly had Link using actual magic alongside his physical items, swords and things like that. And you got these magic powers by visiting these wise old men at the different towns. And so I'm kind of including them too. Call them the magicians. None of them have names. The closest you get is like some gal will be like, go visit my father. And then you go down into a basement and he's like, here's super jump.
Take this.
take this. You'll need it. And there it is. So those are some of my other honorable mentions. Did you have a few more?
I do.
Yes, please.
So we mentioned Ganon briefly, went over that. I had Girahim as an honorable mention, because he can do a lot of magic stuff, but also he's not really like a person. So again, honorable mention.
Yeah.
And then my little honorable mention, I put the Electric Wizrobe. Because Electric Wizrobe is my favorite Wizrobe, but the Wizrobes in general, because technically while they are monsters, they're wizards. So them on there.
I love that. I also did try to find, I did some searching. I couldn't find anything, but if our listeners can, I also I wanted to play with the magician sorcerer thing a little bit as I was building my list. Ultimately, I just kind of went with the big hitters. But I was kind of like, are there any characters in any Zelda games who are what we would call real world magicians, normal magicians, sleight of hand artists? And I thought, man, I know there's sometimes like the random games in different Zelda games, pick this, pick that. But I couldn't find any in my searching of any kind of like in-game magicians that are just sleight of hand experts. But if anybody can think of any, that would be super cool, where they're, someone in some town and they make something that seems like magic happen. And that would be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Or even if they're like a bad magician, they're not good at it or something. You can imagine a character existing where they try to do it and it doesn't work out. But I would love, if anybody can think of any, that'd be super fun and super cool. All right, Kady, there it is.
Yes.
Our list.
I like our list a lot.
I think I really do too. And I took more notes for this episode than I usually do, because when I first started, I was like, I could think of 2.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like, okay, Ganon, Zelda, kind of Link. But I'm glad I like actually was like, okay, yes, these are.
I thought of egging him right away. And then I kind of was like, I don't know, maybe Zan, blah, 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 okay. But then we went from there and it was great. I found so many, and I think we really brought a lot to the...
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have any duplicates. I was worried we were going to have duplicates.
Holy moly, we often do.
Yeah.
This was like a fully fledged...
Yeah.
You're right. This might be one of our most successful top 10s ever.
No, I'm really happy about it. I was like, I hope we don't pick the same ones, because there really is just like a handful of a pool to pick from. But we made it work.
Well, I think what saved us there is I accidentally picked a lot from some games that you haven't yet played. And then you were able to really pull some that I wasn't even thinking about. Yeah. And therein is the magic of co-hosting a show.
Yippee.
Yippee. All right, Kady, what are we doing in our next episode? It's a big one.
Is it our Phantom Hourglass review? I'm so excited to talk about Phantom Hourglass, guys. I'm really excited about it. Also, though, I texted you this morning and I was like, David, Phantom Hourglass, what are we going to do next? What are we going to play next? And you're like, oh, we'll talk about it maybe on the episode.
Yes, we can and should. We could do it. Yeah, let's do it right now for the fun of it.
Okay.
Also, in real life, as we are recording this, I think you're on the final boss in Phantom Hourglass, and I'm in the middle of the final. I'm like doing the Phantom Sword stuff right now.
I love that dungeon.
So we're both very, very close. I can't wait. I have beaten Phantom Hourglass, almost 18 years ago is when it actually came out. I realized the first time I played it, I loved it. In fact, I there's 2 save slots on those cartridges. My first save slot is the first time I played, and all the little icons are there. And I've been playing the second save slot, and it's been fun to see the icons kind of come back. And okay, whatever. But right now I'm in that, and it's so funny how much I've forgotten, which is great because it's been a while. Or like there's been parts where I go into a room and I'm like, oh, I kind of remember this now, but I don't actually remember where that force gem was or this or that thing was. And so it's been a lot of fun playing. I've been bouncing back and forth between my DS, my 3DS, which is right here in front of me, and my DS Lite, which is also right here. I've been going back and forth. The DS Lite is what it came out for. Maybe we're accidentally having a Phantom Hourglass episode right now, so I'm going to pull back on all of that. I just realized we'll save it for our next episode. But as far as the games we should play next, if we stick to our schedule, the next review episode is one of our Zelda-like reviews, which we haven't done in a long, long time. You were talking about doing
Okami, right?
So the last time we did, when Kate and I first originally came up with the idea of this show, almost 8 years ago now, we said, yeah, we'll review games, and then it's also just as interesting to talk about games that are so clearly inspired by Zelda, so much so that it's like another company doing their version of a Zelda game. And so the first one we did was Ubisoft's Beyond Good and Evil. And I think we did that in season 2. We played it and reviewed it like it was a Zelda game and informed by our knowledge of Zelda. And so in many ways you can see the similarities. You can see the differences. Sometimes you can see why there's similarities because something really works really, really well in a Zelda game. And in Beyond Good and Evil, there were 1 or 2 features that the company was able to even expand on some of the mechanics or the UI and actually maybe even do a little bit better in some areas. And so also that's kind of interesting. Yeah. You and I have talked about, we haven't done a Zelda-like review episode in almost 4 or 5 seasons. I've been dying to. I desperately want to do Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube.
Yeah, you want to do Star Fox. I personally want to do Deltarune Chapter 3.
Which I don't even know what that is.
But they do a whole Zelda segment in it. It's so good. I love that game.
A Zelda segment, but is it a Zelda? Like if you gave it a palette swap, would it be a Zelda game? That's what we're trying to do here.
I guess not, but it would be fun to do for just like maybe like a Patreon.
Maybe over on Patreon we like can get to that part and play it. I'd love that. I think that'd be great. Yeah, we're trying to do the Zelda-like reviews should be games where another company, in this case Capcom, because I think we are going to do Okami next, is basically like we're going to do our Zelda. Yeah. And the reason we're doing Okami is because it is available on the Switch right now. Is an HD remaster.
Yeah, I do really want to play Okami. I feel like that would be a good one. Okami, I feel like the next Zelda game, it could be either... Here's the thing. I did Ocarina. We could do Majora's. Yeah. We did Phantom Hourglass. We could do Spirit Tracks. Right. Or we could do like Minish Cap and then the Oracles.
I know. That's the thing. Where I'm leaning is, this is where I'm at. I guess we're having a quick little meeting here at the end of this episode. I really want to get Twilight Princess in there as soon as possible. And as soon as possible is like season 8 right now.
Yeah.
It's like literally next season, not this season. Especially if we do Okami. I kind of like the idea of us bouncing back and forth between like a mainline game and a handheld game and back and forth.
Yeah.
We're doing Phantom. We do kind of have 2 or 3 sequels lined up. We could jump into any of those at any time. And then we also have the classic. We have A Link to the Past, which we've never done. I think this is how we should do it. There's been a few games that previous co-hosts and I have reviewed, like A Link to the Past. The way, Ocarina of Time, the way you and I did it is we reviewed Ocarina of Time 3D. The way we did Wind Waker is we reviewed Wind Waker HD. Maybe Twilight Princess could be lined up with a hopeful, inevitable Twilight Princess Switch 2 release or something like that, and we could play it that way in a year's time. I have a feeling, I feel like everyone says this, that it's going to be the next year's Zelda thing, but hopefully it's Imprisoning Wars, then maybe it's like a Twilight Princess thing.
Yeah.
And then it lines up with maybe the Ocarina of Time remake or something like that. Also, I'm a little worried about playing Okami before Twilight Princess because they both use dogs.
Oh.
The main character is a dog. And both games came out almost at the same time. One originally came out for PlayStation and one came out for GameCube and Wii.
Oh.
And I almost, as much as I enjoy Twilight Princess, I'm almost worried that we're going to play Okami and then go play Twilight Princess and be like, oh, well, Zelda took this from Okami. And maybe it was the other way around. And maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that's part of the conversation.
Okay.
So I actually don't think we should do Twilight Princess next.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there any that are calling to you? Because we could jump. We did Link's Awakening HD. We could jump into an Oracle game. We've been setting up Oracle seasons for years, which we haven't, but it's kind of on and off. I don't know. Which one are you most curious about?
I'm very curious about Minish Cap. I am very curious about the Oracles for sure, but also Majora's Mask. I really want to play that one at some point. But I'm okay holding off because we just did a DS game. Maybe
it's after Okami. Maybe it's one of the Oracles. Oh, no, maybe it's Minish Cap.
You want to do Minish Cap first?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Minish Cap comes first timeline order.
Timeline order, it does. In fact, for the longest time, it was the first one.
Yeah, until Skyward Sword.
Yeah, Nintendo was like, no. We'll start the story. Thank you, Capcom. The one thing is that Capcom did the Oracle of Ages and Seasons games. And when you play Minish Cap, you can feel some of that. They also did Minish Cap. So when you play Minish Cap, you can feel some of the evolution of the Oracle games, which is kind of cool from a game design point of view. So I think it's kind of, even though I ultimately enjoy Minish Cap a little bit more than the Oracle games, even though the Oracle games are great, I almost feel like playing at least one of them first kind of informs your Minish Cap experience.
We can do Oracles and we can play both of them, but each of us start with a different game.
Maybe. I actually love that idea, except how the heck do we review it? It's just us telling each other about 2 completely separate games?
Well, no, we would be playing both of the games. We would be playing them in a different order.
So one does Ages, Seasons, the other one does Season, Ages?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's think about that because that's going to take a long time to play.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing we do in a season because that's going to take like 3 months.
Yeah.
I love it. I think we know it's going to be Okami next as far as the next game we play. The next Zelda game, I don't know, maybe we can have the listeners cue us in a little bit too. If you are listening to this right now and you'd like to message us on Blue Sky or X or Instagram or anywhere really, or email us at anotherzeldapodcast@gmail.com like our other listener did at the top of this show. We are open to feedback here as what we should play after Okami. I think I would lean towards a game that it's a balancing act between what game is the best for a new player to play, someone like you on your journey to play next, but also, pardon me, there's half the library that we've never even reviewed ever on this show.
Yeah.
And so if we could find the perfect, like Majora's Mask is that, honestly. We've never reviewed Majora's Mask. People have been asking about it for years. Yeah. We've been saving it.
Huh.
And if you're ready to play it, maybe it's Majora's Mask, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of way I'm thinking. Maybe it's Majora's Mask and then it's Twilight Princess after that, or we throw in an Oracle there. I don't know. We're still like 4 years away from some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like. But maybe that's where we go. But we are open to feedback. But I think it's going to be Okami after Phantom Hourglass.
Awesome.
I have no idea how long it takes to play that game.
We'll find out. I'll look it up. My guess is 35 hours.
Around. That's
my guess.
It was like the PlayStation 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, there we go. We don't know, but we'll see you next episode for our review of Phantom Hourglass. I will say I had a great time with it, playing it.
Okay. Yes, me as well. I was thoroughly surprised at how much I've enjoyed it.
I definitely had ups and downs, and I had moments where I was like, why? But ultimately, I had a really nice, emotionally, I had a great time playing the game, and I think that we'll be able to speak to all of that. Cool. All right, Kady, well, let's get out of here then. And I'll see you in 2 weeks for our Phantom Hourglass review. You're making a face. What's going on?
David, where can they find you?
I see. Oh, yeah, people can find me on the internet at Raptor Paint. And that's about it. I'm Raptor Paint everywhere.
All right, awesome. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the letters KD Stargazer. And you can find this podcast everywhere for the most part. And
just Google
also
Another Zelda Podcast or our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
Yeah.
Galutrad and I, Galutrad from Another Pokemon Podcast.com or .com and I, we're kind of like co-redesigning the websites very slowly in the background right now because we kind of want to change. It's just been a while. It's been 7 years with the Zelda AZP's website. We're just maybe thinking of a little change, a little refresh. And we also want that to sync up with the podcast one. So it's been fun. I've been having meetings with Galutrad about kind of what we want to see on a new site. And since we're doing it, if you hear this right now, listeners, and you have anything you'd really like for us to try to include on a revamped website for both shows, please just let us know. And that's that. Kady, let's go because we got to record a Patreon episode.
Yes, Magical Sword, people.
Well, this will be Magical Sword and White Sword. This is our middle tier and our top tier because it's audio, yeah. But it's going to be about a project that you and I are working on together this coming fall. And it's a bit of a crossover. Ooh, what's up with the face there?
You're keeping me in the dark. Faces. I don't know what we're doing.
It's the fictional narrative podcast.
Yes.
But you don't know yet?
About...
Like what it's going to be?
What we're doing for D&D?
Yeah. So you know a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll talk about it there. We'll talk about it over on Patreon. Right, and cool. Let's get out of here. I've taken way too long for this outro. Kady, we'll see you later.
Bye.